Hi, my name is Bob Rankin. I'm an artist and art educator. I've been working and practicing in the Raleigh area for over 40 years. I absolutely love what I do, and we're just going to have a little mini free art lesson here to show you how you can start to reveal the underground. What is the underground? Well, on a lot of canvases, they already come primed with white gesso. I prefer to work on a colored background. It just ups the ante in terms of the amount of energy that you attack the surface with, and it creates a lot more visual interest. So I'm going to show you how to basically coat the canvas initially. And I'm going to be using a color blend. As long as you know how to color blend, then you can make almost anything come to life. So I'm going to start off with a less than predictable background and perhaps think about doing somewhat of a little miniature cityscape here. Starting off with magenta mixed in with white, I'm adding just a little bit of water. And as long as the thickness is the right thickness, meaning the ratio of water to paint, then it'll go on very, very smooth and it'll be very opaque. So I'm going to start off, I'm using a size 20 brush, which is in the starter set, my starter set, and you can see that that really coats a large area very quickly. In addition to that, I'm going to be bringing in a little bit of phthalo blue to that magenta. These are all primary colors that I'm working with here. And you can see with that phthalo blue that it's really toning it down. Now, if I wanted to blend this surface into that surface, I'm going to create a figure 8 movement, just barely touching it. Figure 8, let that brush dance across the surface. And when I'm doing a background, I always want to have at least a different ratio, meaning I don't want the horizon line to be right in the center of the painting. I want it to probably be 2/3, 1/3 in this particular case. So I'm going to lighten it up a little bit more as we get down to the bottom. Bring in a little bit of yellow, mix in with that white. And again, I'm just barely touching it when I want those colors to blend. And of course, I'm working very fast with acrylics so that it's working wet to wet. So there's some really sharp contrast that I'm looking for right here. So this is the primed surface, or the underground. And a lot of this will be covered up when I start to come back in and paint on it. So I'm going to put this one aside, and I just happen to have, for your painting pleasure, one that is dried, and I can go ahead and start working on this and to reveal that underground. So I'm going to change this brush out. I want to have some contrasting colors on top of this so you can really see how you can reveal it. So I'm just doing hints of building shapes, rectangular shapes. And again, these are all contrasting colors where I used a warm background color with a magenta. Now I'm coming back in with some cooler colors on top of that. You can, of course, reverse that. And because you need to work with this while it's still wet, I'm having to work quite fast. Warm up this green a little bit. Bring in a lot more white this time. You need to do this part in about 5 minutes, because if you wait a little bit longer than that, then it's going to set up and you can't push the paint around. So now I'm ready to reveal that surface, that underground. And what I can use, obviously a palette is the most obvious thing, but you can also use objects that you found around the house. You can see now that because I'm scraping through and revealing some of that underground, that it creates a lot more visual interest. So I'm using the palette knife here. If you want to create and push that surface around with a larger panel, then I'm simply using foam core and using the edge of that foam core. This has got a nice stable edge, and you can see I can push it across. So this is all about revealing that underground. You can see where it's coming through. It adds continuity to it. It's great fun to do. I have other examples that I'd like to share with you, and you can see that using that same method, I have created a scape that is used for the International Festival, and I've just brought in iconic buildings from around the world and incorporated that into a lot of the areas that I've scraped off. So this is Bob Rankin. I hope you've enjoyed. Try it at home.